Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel Tech Talk with Bill. Today I'll be going to uncover one of the smallest checkboxes in ServiceNow that can make or completely break your data strategy. So I'm talking about Coalesce in ServiceNow. So what is Coalesce in ServiceNow? So it might be like a fancy technical term that you first heard, but once you understand what it truly does, it will change how you handle your data imports in the ServiceNow platform. So the video that you'll see will give the confidence once you import data in ServiceNow using the CSV or an Excel file. It's making sure that it went well, that you will be feeling confident that your data, it could be a CMDB, a user table, has two or three different records of the same data. And at that moment, what you think what might have just happened or what steps basically has went wrong to simply remove the duplicates at the start of your import. So that classic pitfalls, I would say, is not setting up the Coalesce correctly. So in this session, I will walk you through a real world scenario. And in this example, I will load HR data, transform it into a user table, and I'll show you live how ServiceNow decides when to update a record versus when to create a new one. And by the end of this video, you'll be able to design clean, intelligent imports, the kind that every architect wants in their platform. Before we start, make sure you subscribe to the channel. And if you're passionate about mastering ServiceNow, I post hands-on lessons, deep dives, and architectural breakdowns like this every week. So don't forget to join as a member and hit the bell icon, and let's build it the right way together. So what you're seeing now at this screen is the personal developer environment. And this place will act as your laboratory where you can follow along and import data and make mistakes. And as you make mistakes, you gain more experience and you become closer in becoming an expert. And if you have not done so in creating your PDI or personal developer environment, I have created a full video that you will find at the end of the screen. And as I move to the top right and start building, it will take you to the ServiceNow platform, which is that we will be using all throughout this demo. Now, to import data in ServiceNow, you need to first navigate on the top left, which is the application navigator, and type in imports. And it's a keyword-driven search. And as you type import set, you will see an application in system import sets. And to start importing data, the first step is you load the data, and this screen will come up. So ServiceNow creates a staging table, which is basically similar to the CSV file that you will be importing. And in this example, it will be HR users. So this label will have a corresponding temp table. And let us now upload the file, which is the CSV. And in this example, we will import 3 users. And as we do that, it will ask for what tab in your CSV and what will be the header column. And that will be the first row. And as we submit, it will take us to this page and be able to verify if the CSV has been uploaded correctly. And we can also drill down to the loaded data, and eventually we have 3 records. Once we drill down to the record, you will see as a preview, we have a unique employee ID coming from the HR record, the email, and the different attributes. And we're making it simple on this example, but you may have more fields in your company that you would like to import into ServiceNow. So the 2 following records will be in the same format, and you will see that the second record is representing Sarah, while the first record is representing David, while the third record will be Maria. And the next step is you go to click Transform Maps, and we need a new one for our import set. And let us name this transform map like HR user V1, since we will be uploading a second version later on to basically ensure that there will be no duplicates that will occur. And you can see that ServiceNow is intelligent enough ensuring that we have populated the correct field. Since we are creating new users, so it will be under the users table, under the sys_user, which is a platform table inside ServiceNow. And as we right-click and save, it will take us to this page, ensuring that the correct fields from the source will be targeting the correct table, which is on the right, which is ServiceNow. And the tool has auto matching fields. And what it does, it creates a loop on every field in the CSV file and match it to the target field. And eventually we are missing one field, which is the employee ID. And to be able to verify that each field is mapped correctly, we can use mapping assist, which is on the top left will be the source file. And what we're looking for is the employee ID, making sure that it's mapped to the correct field. And eventually the uniqueness of the user table will be the user ID. And as we map them together, we are ensuring that the correct fields from the source to the target are populated correctly. Now, the topic of this lesson is about Coalesce. And you can see each field can be a Coalesce field. And the main purpose of the Coalesce is to ensure the uniqueness of each record. So it's sort of like a checker, that ensuring that if a record exists, it's either updated, or if a record does not exist, then it will create a new one. And from the source, which is the HR users records, the unique identifier is the employee ID. And in ServiceNow, it will be the username. So in that aspect, we need to turn this into true to ensure that there will be no duplicates based on the employee ID of the source and to its destination. And you can see that depending how complex your records are, and it could be a configuration item in your CMDB, which will need more Coalesce. So ServiceNow will give you that flexibility to ensure no duplicates in the target table is basically created. So if you import without thinking about the correct identity or identifier, ServiceNow will create brand new record for each row. So you'll end up the duplicate users, one for the old Sarah and one for the new Sarah. And the new system won't know which one is real. And that is where Coalesce basically steps in. So when you hear Coalesce, think about identity logic. It tells ServiceNow, use this field to check if the record already exists. If a record with that same value exists, then update it. And then if not, insert a new one. And that's how simple it is. Now, let us continue the steps so you will see it in action. Now let's do a transform. And eventually we have only one mapping, which is HR users version 1. And as we click transform, you will see in the top left that the records are created successfully. Now let us open a new instance. And on this new instance, let's go to the user records, which is sys_user.list to verify that the 3 records have been created. And as we do that, as we land to this content that contains all the user, let us do a search of all IDs, which starts with EMP. And you will see that 3 records has been created successfully. Now let us challenge the system and show you by creating a new record. So let me change my screen for better visibility on what we're trying to show. So here on this records, I'll open the 2 CSV files. So on the left, this is the first record that we have just recently uploaded. And on this new record, you will see that the first 2 is the same record as we have imported. And we have added a new employee, which is Michael Tan. And the expectation is once we import this new record in ServiceNow, that I should only create the 4th row, which is Michael, who is from the marketing department and who is also an analyst. So let us now put that into action by loading another data. And let's have HR users v2. And as we upload the file, in ServiceNow. So we are basically doing the same settings because the structure is the same. And let's submit, and let's go to the loaded data just to verify that the records has been uploaded successfully. So we have Michael on the third row, and we will have Sarah, we will have David. And let us now continue with the transform maps of the same steps and create a new one for this new imported file. And let's put like HR users v2. And since we are uploading to the same record or target table, which is sys_user, and let us scroll down a little bit to find the target table that we're looking for. So to make our life easier, let us put a user from the prefix and add a column. And as we choose that, now our form is complete, and let us now save it. And let us automap the matching fields. So Servicely works. It's doing the best it can to be able to map the correct fields as much as possible, but it's missing the employee ID, which is our important ID from the HR records. And as we match them from the source and also to the target to ensure accuracy once we upload the new data inside ServiceNow. Now, as we have re-imported this data, ServiceNow looks at the same employee ID field as we mark the same code to be true. So it will go through the list correctly without duplicating the existing record. And at the end of this import, you'll see one update, one insert, and one is ignored exactly as expected, and your system will stay clean, reliable, and trustworthy. So tell you a story. When I first encountered this at the client side, the problem wasn't just duplicates, it was broken workflows. Managers couldn't approve requests because the system thought there were multiple Sarahs. Their ITSM team was escalating incidents to the wrong users. It was really chaotic. We fixed everything with one change, setting the Coalesce field correctly. And this is the primary source to ensure that the data is correct. It works like a checker prior to uploading it to ServiceNow. That's when I realized that Coalesce isn't just a checkbox, but it's a safeguard for platform integrity. And if you're getting value out of this video and you're learning something new, please go ahead and like this video. It helps more ServiceNow learners discover these practical lessons. And please don't forget to join as a member to further support my channel. And now let us move forward by clicking transform to complete the process and to upload the records inside ServiceNow. And now let us go back to the users table from the previous tab. And as we do the search by using *EMP, all records containing EMP, and you will see now 4 records, and the 4th one should be Michael Tan. And as we have completed this full demo, and you may have, or in a different scenario, sometimes one field isn't enough to identify uniqueness. For example, like assets, a laptop might be identified by both the serial number and the asset tag. So you can coalesce on multiple fields, meaning ServiceNow will only update a record if all those fields match exactly. And that's very useful when you're importing from complex sources like discovery or vendor data feeds where no single field is guaranteed to be unique. And I would like you to use it with care, because the more fields you use, the stricter the match becomes. And even one doesn't match, ServiceNow creates a new record. So in this HR case, if we coalesce on both employee ID and email, and an employee changed their email address, the system might think it's a different person and it will create a duplicate. And that's why, as architects, we have to think not just about what's unique today, but what is stable across the full life cycle. Identities isn't just about uniqueness, it's about consistency. So next time you see that little Coalesce checkbox in your transform map, make sure to ask yourself, what identity am I defining right now? Because that tiny decision will ripple across every workflow, integration, and also dashboards. and Coalesce, that's one of the most important decisions you will ever make in a data flow. So this is Bill from Tech Talk with Bill, helping you build your ServiceNow skills and career the right way. If this video has bring value to you, don't forget to join as a member, hit the like button, subscribe, and also share with your team. And remember, every great system starts with clean and trusted data. I'll see you in the next episode.